Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rowan Roundtable here on All Access with the Profs. As usual, I'm Ryan Ravel. Joined this week with our TV student, Vin DeAnton. He recently made a documentary on the ice hockey team. Vin, how are you?
Good. It's kind of surreal to be sitting in this chair, working on the show for years now. It's like being
Coming to the
interviewed.
end.
It's weird. Like when your producer asked me to interview him, like, wow, for All Access.
Yeah, it's a little more different from Face Off, I suppose. A little
Yeah,
tiny
very,
bit different.
very.
All right, so let's get talking about this documentary. This was your idea, I believe. You created it. So tell me, what exactly was this documentary about?
Well, actually, it's funny. In my last semester of producing All Access, which was last semester, this past fall, we had the Rowan goalie and one of the captains on. And afterwards, I don't know how it started, but it all started with how 24/7 does the HBO special leading up to the Winter Classic. And I know they have their own Winter Classic game. Not realizing when it was, but
Yeah.
I was like, let's start. So when I said, instead of just doing it on the lead up to that game, and there wasn't really enough time to do a build up, what we did was I said, you guys are expected to clinch nationals this year. That anything can happen. You guys can lose or whatever. I think it's a pretty good story. The program within itself is a good story. So we said, let's start from the outdoor game and go to until the last game before nationals to see if they go or if they don't go. Long story short, selfishly, the schedule didn't work out for the winter game. Plus, it took place over winter break, so it'd be kind of difficult to get everybody down here. I mean, it's hard enough as a sports producer here to get people to do sports shoots, trying to get people to come out of their way to film a winter game. It's gonna be tough. Mm-hmm. So, and plus, it was on the day of the NFL playoffs. So at the time, we're like, I don't know if the Giants are gonna be in it or not. So,
They weren't. They weren't. Just reminding you.
They were. Yeah, thanks. But so that's what it's about. It's about how we started from. We were supposed to go film 2 other games before where we originally started, which is against Temple, at Temple, but it snowed on the day of the Rider game, and the next day was a trip out to Penn State, a 6-hour bus ride.
That's a long one.
Which I would have loved to do, because you know me, I'm up for anything. But it snowed that weekend, kind of didn't work out, so let's keep people safe. But we want to keep the documentary under 1 hour. So I think starting from where we started and having footage of the games that we produce for hockey, I think we'll be fine. So basically it takes place from a Temple game with a little backstory before that about the history of Rowan, and then all the way through to see if they made it to nationals or not, which if you watch All Access, you know they didn't make it. So it leads up right to when they lost to Liberty and that crazy goal where it bounced off the player's skate. We have that
That's
shot.
like the end of the documentary.
We have the shot. That's not the exact end, but we captured the shot.
Okay, very nice. So I was just thinking 24/7 on HBO, they got behind the scenes in the locker room.
Yeah.
Did Coach Caulfield allow you to get in the locker room at all?
He let us do whatever we want.
Really?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
The only thing luckily we didn't catch anybody nude. That was my biggest
fear. That would have been a good thing.
I mean, I did wrestle and play football in high school, so it didn't matter. But yeah, we were allowed locker room access. The only time we didn't go in the locker room was after they lost to Virginia Tech on senior night. We went into the locker room after they lost to Liberty to end the season because we had to.
Yeah.
But senior night we didn't go in because we thought it would be too tense. But we just left the camera outside the door. But we got to get pranks. We got candid interviews, off camera, non-sit down interview, just candid stuff. And then with him, he actually let us mic him up. You know how when you watch NFL films and the
coaches are mic'd up
wired during the game.
Okay.
We did that
during the
game
games.
we were at.
Really?
Yeah. We had a coach camera on him the whole time. It's gonna be rated R, so everybody knows. There's a lot of cursing in it. That was probably we were grateful enough that when we asked him, see, he's a guy who's worried about pub for the team, getting as much press out there. He fought forever to get them in the WIT. They're in the WIT now all the time. RTN obviously passed down from producers like Eric Ruff and Rob Cunningham. I took on that this year, making sure we have 3 key. The fact that we do a 3-camera live shoot, this is the first time we ever streamed hockey live this year, that we got, with those awesome graphics and in HD, he loves that. Mm-hmm. So the more press for the team, the better, and that's why he usually says yes to anything. So yeah, Coach Caulfield is a great guy. He gets a lot of grief. A lot of people want him fired, but I actually just wrapped up his interview with him just now. That's where I'm actually coming from. We finally wrapped it up today. So Coach Caulfield's a good guy. He let us do whatever we want. So it was more up to us of what to do and what to not do, where we would feel if we were overstepping our boundaries or going too far.
That's really cool. You got to go behind the scenes in the locker room, got to do whatever you want. Caulfield being the intense guy that he is, did you get any in the locker room speeches that were just really intense, kind of compared to a Laviolette or Tortorella type thing?
He kind of, I know Laviolette's pretty good, but no one beats Torts. And I hate the Rangers, but if you watch 24/7 of the Rangers, he was great. He was like
Yeah,
the
he was
equivalent
entertaining.
of Rex Ryan, kind of, in a way, just not as like colorful, but more serious.
Well, Laviolette had that one too, where he was going off after the Bruins
Oh no,
game
no,
and stuff.
yeah, he
So
was.
there was like,
I didn't pay enough attention to it myself.
Yeah.
But I know Laviolette does really good interviews though, because I watched some like clips of those. But no, he's not a big speech guy. It's the one thing you'll be disappointed, and he kind of warned us about that because I don't really give a speech. They were pretty good. It was more about what the captains would say. But
Yeah.
it was just it's repetitive. When it's young athletes and college, it's repetitive. I think when it's a pro level, it's different because there's more at stake. But no, I mean we got good locker room footage of him, but nothing sexy.
all right. So overall, how do you think the documentary looks now that you haven't quite finished it yet, but you just finished up your final interview? It's all coming into place
Yeah.
now. Do you think that the Rowan faithful will enjoy watching this documentary as much as, say, a Flyers fan enjoyed watching 24/7?
I hope so. I know the players will enjoy it because hockey players are like hams.
Yeah.
But we have to. I've watched a little bit of the footage, mostly the interviews, so I can get stuff for the other interviews that I do. But we have to watch about 23 hours of footage, like 23.
Edit it all up.
Well,
gonna be
just
a
to
lot.
watch through it first and then edit it. I hope so. I mean, yeah. They should. Honestly, I'm a perfectionist, and I never think what I do is good. So I need other people to like tell me that. So until it's done, I won't be able to tell you. But looking at the footage that we got, and even people who worked on the crew with me, who are very honest with me, very good friends, who were the most brutal people to me, like they'll tell me if it's good or not. They said the footage, because other people have watched just as much as I am. They love the footage, and we're talking about like non-sports people too.
Mm-hmm.
They love the footage. So if we edit it right, if we put it together right, if we use a voiceover or not, I think it'll be very good. But you're also talking to the guy who's making it, so he's not gonna.
Well, you're not gonna bash it, obviously. Yes.
I'll tell you this: I did direct it, I did produce it, I am writing it, I did all that. It'll look good, but with like the wording, like how it's gonna flow, I can't make guarantees. But the camera shots and the color correction, all that, it's gonna look really good.
All right. Well, I mean, you got a lot of good feedback. You said Caulfield seems to like the footage, so
Caulfield, they all
they
the
love it.
players the most. The
Yeah,
players
you know
are
they gotta
really-
love this
I
whole-
got some players
the
to
whole
cry.
media on 'em.
It stinks. The one guy was about to start sobbing.
What,
and
like
his-
at the end of the season or something?
No,
or?
when we were interviewing him about
Okay.
the Liberty game, and his mic fell off.
Oh God.
And there was also one really good interview we got. We like did it again. It came back kind of just as good, but when we stopped recording and we went to capture it, the footage was gone. We had to reshoot that.
God.
So just typical stuff you're into. It's a Vindy Anton production. Something technical is always gonna like go wrong or something's gonna crash. So
But overall, it sounded like it was a pretty cool experience.
it was
the
a
experience
life-changing
was
experience
awesome.
as a person who's aspiring to be in film. Yeah,
Yeah.
it really was. Again, I'm not guaranteeing it's gonna be anything great. I pray to God it is, but yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm sure a lot of people are. You know, a lot of the hockey fans are. Rowan loves their hockey team, so I think people are going to like it a lot.
Thank
So, Vin D'Anton, thanks for being here.
Thank you, man. It was a
Appreciate
pleasure being
it.
on. Yep.
All right, that'll do it for us here on Roundtable. When we come back, Chris and Tom will give you more stories about the week that was for Rowan baseball and our male and female athlete of the week. So stay tuned.